What's up, YouTube? How are we doing on this absolutely gorgeous Monday afternoon? Today, we're going to be doing a longer style video, giving you guys an update on your favorite tickers, AMC, GME, and NEO for you NEO degenerates. And I did that in reverse order, but we're actually going to start with our favorite stock in the electrical car company, NEO, right? NEO is doing something very, very beautiful, and it continues to respect this flag pattern that we have drawn up. If you go to the weekly time frame, guys, you are forming a weekly hammer candle. And granted, right, we're a day into the week. Anything can happen, but what's nice is seeing the amount of volume that you have just to start the week. 65 million in one day. Go to the daily time frame. I take that back. I take it all back. That's not great volume. But what you're going to want to see is you're going to want to see continuation off of this breakout with increasing volume, right? You see it in every single breakout. You see deterioration in volume, and then boom, your breakout candle. Boom, right? Deterioration, increase, boom, boom, right? So you're looking for the increase in volume, green volume specifically, and to get one of the most bullish continuation candles going into the breakout, guys, that's an amazing sign. And I hope you guys are starting to pick up and identify these specific candles, right? Now that we're covering it and we're explaining to you what happens when you get a bullish hammer candle, right? Like, just as an example, last time you had a bullish hammer, you could say on the daily time frame, you really don't have a lot of them on here. Wow. I thought you had more. Yeah, I mean, you could say here, you marked 745 before making your local top at 760. You could say here, marking the bottom and a bounce off of this uptrend. But if you go to the weekly time frame, it's a little bit more specific because you had one right before your breakout, and that marked your bottom, right? So very good signs here on NEO stock that you are coming to an end of the consolidation before your markup phase. And what gets me absolutely jacked, right? What gets me so just up the wall on this stock is you can see here, I'm going to zoom in a little bit, but your consolidation from this flag pattern, once you break it, whoa, my trend line is tripping. That's very weird. I've never seen that. Let's say you break it though, right? That flagpole on top of the flag, that is your technical breakout price target from these bullish flag patterns. Takes you directly to our price target at 950. 950, very in line with your weekly 200 moving average, or EMA exponential moving average, at 940, guys. So very, very exciting stuff on NEO, and I think that you're going to see this move occur. You may overextend into $10 and then reject. I'm expecting a sharp rejection here, guys, because you have yet to see one on NEO. NEO has continued, right? Absolutely knocking at the doors, looking for legs higher and higher lows and higher highs and higher lows. It's very evident on this chart. You zoom in. Higher high, higher low, higher high, higher low, higher high, higher low. You're now looking for your higher high, and that technical break gives you the price target of $950 to $10. And seeing how strong you've held in these critical levels for NEO stock is amazing to see. It's absolutely amazing to see the bulls hold here, consolidating on these local highs, right? You bounced perfectly off your last higher high, and now you're forming a range, right? Before you look to mark up higher. Every single time that you've touched the 771 or 771 range, guys, look at the rejections. I mean, sharp. This was support, but sharp support. And then it's pretty evident that when you broke this, you absolutely capitulated. And when you broke above this, guys, that's what's more exciting, is when you broke above this, look at those candles. You had, following the break of 771, a weekly candle of 35%, a weekly candle of 59%. So what was the key to unlock the bullish gate, or the bull doors, right, was getting above 771, because when that happened in the past, you really unlocked crazy volatility on NEO stock. So that's going to be something I am watching for once you get above this level and up towards the 200-day EMA, because previously you were already above the 200-day EMA and you were actually looking for a golden cross on the weekly time frame. So you didn't quite have that same level of resistance that you have right in this high 10 or high 9s area that you should expect. But regardless, guys, when in doubt, zoom out. I cannot tell you without a shadow of a doubt how amazing that this chart looks. This is one of the best charts, one of the hottest stocks on the market right now. And people are going to start talking about this thing when you get above $10. When you get above 10, people, oh my God, NEO stock? I've been in NEO the whole time. Yeah, right? All those NEO degenerates are going to come back. And without a doubt, it deserves the credit here. You can see that how sharp the 50-day EMA is moving to the upside in the weekly time frame, alongside with the sloping down 200. That will lead to a bullish golden cross on the weekly time frame. It is only a matter of time, and I do believe on this stock that the best is yet to come. The best is yet to come. You can see last time you had a weekly golden cross on this stock, you were already at 15, but from that you marked up 300 plus percent. That's insane movements, guys. So you are beginning to look scary on NEO. If you do not slow down here, you're entering a substantial markup phase here. So I will continue to cover NEO stock. For all those NEO lifers out there, those NEO 100 degenerates, make sure to slap the like button, slap the subscribe button, and tune into my next couple of videos because we are going to be continuing to cover this and monitor this situation. You do still have the unfilled gap here at approximately 632, and you look like you want to go higher, right? So I caution the bears to short at these levels. I really do. You could get cooked. And on the daily time frame, the only thing I will say is I need the volume to kick in this week. If you finish the week with a high close hammer candle, guys, it's only a matter of time before you break 771. The only thing I will say, I do not like the daily cross down on the daily MACD, but you could very easily see something very similar here, right? Where you were going into your breakout and you saw the cross down and then a fake out for the bulls. And that's happened every single time where you see a extended consolidation once you got the cross down and then a breakout. Extended consolidation, breakout. Maybe extended consolidation and then breakout, right? So it's not a terrible thing by any means, by any measures, but what matters is how good you look on the weekly chart. How, like, literally one of the hottest stocks on the monthly chart here, you can see you are closing these candles for the first time. This is your highest monthly close since December 23rd of 2023, guys. I cannot tell you how bullish I am on this stock, along with the 3 white soldiers pattern that you have on the monthly getting confirmed here in the next 2 days. So unless you see some kind of mass capitulation event on NEO stock, you're going to see this thing close with the 3 white soldiers, and you're most likely either going to get a consolidation candle or you're going to get an absolutely insane candle into $10. Because the last time you had something like that, right, was back here, 1, 2, 3. That was your breakout, and then this marked the just absolute degeneracy of this stock running an additional 800%, guys. So this thing looks insane. I love the volume increasing along with the price here. And for me, that establishes your breakout. I would hate to short this thing. I think you're a maniac if you're shorting at these levels because can't stop, won't stop, Neo stock. Okay, that is enough after this quarterly chart. You are above the 9-day EMA on the quarterly chart. Very bullish for the interim move, seeing as though last time you got above it was right here. And then you kind of rejected it after this fail higher low. And you just, you slid all the way down, right? But you're doing something very similar to these patterns here where you're breaking above the 9-day EMA. It's that very thin red line. You're breaking above it as you get a continuation in the curl that will eventually lead to your quarterly MACD cross. This is the first time that you're seeing this since June 30th of 2020 when you saw crazy candles. You can see these 3 candles on the quarterly chart. I'm not saying that that's going to happen, right? But I do believe you will come back to fill some gaps, 13, 26, and potentially make this greater U-shape accumulation pattern or a cup and handle, right? That would look the good old cup and handy. Say it with me, the good old cup and handy. That might be something like this, right? Where you seek consolidation and you continue to make higher lows among this move until you find your cup, find your handle, and then bam, right? That's all-time highs. That's Neo 100. If it was going to happen, it's going to look something like this, right? That Carvana-esque model or that Coinbase-esque model of a chart. If it's going to happen, it's going to happen like this, in my opinion, not financial advice, right? But that is my coverage on Neo. Now let's get into AMC, GameStop. Let's get into GameStop. It's been my trend is I'll do GameStop first and then I'll do AMC. Let's get into GameStop because you are continuing to pound the freaking drum. You're continuing to go crazy on GameStop, up approximately 21% from our call of this bullish pennant here. And the RSI is doing something very interesting. We spoke about this being the first cross up on the monthly RSI since back in March and then also back in April. The respective moves were the following, right? I love charting based off of the historical patterns of stocks. RSI, every time you've crossed that mid-band of the monthly time frame, you've crossed 354%. And then you also crossed and moved 75%, right? So I would expect this move to be not any different. I would expect you to find continuation here. And the only thing stopping you is this resistance on the RSI, making this kind of falling wedge almost. I would expect if you break this, guys, you're going to get nasty. You are going to get so silly here if you're able to break above this resistance trend on the RSI, and it will act as almost a magic genie telling us what this stock is going to do. Because if you find a rejection here, that's telling you you're not ready for your macro breakout, and you might peel back to fill that gap at 2360, right? But if you're able to get this breakout where my cursor is, you could take theoretically your flagpole, put it on top of the flag, and that's taking you back to the bull zone in the monthly time frame for the first time since your January squeeze, guys. That is substantial. And of course, you can expect resistance at 60, resistance at 65. But honestly, guys, when this stock runs, this thing does not leave room for people to get in the lows, right? It typically will run after hours, pre-market, and you'll see these squeeze-esque moves. Up 108%, up 1,600%, up just crazy, stupid moves. And I'm not reading the future here, but this is my bias, right? The company is sitting on $10 billion of cash on hand plus assets in cryptocurrency. I think that something very special can happen here. And the technicals say it, right? Your technicals on GameStop, you take your flagpole, you stick it on top of the breakout, and the technicals are telling you it's going to make its move up to 40. If you break 40, up to 73 your gap fill. And if you break the gap fill, guys, you are going back to $100 for the first time ever since the squeeze. That is substantial. That is humongous. That is very special, honestly, for all the retail holders that have been in this stock throughout the entirety of its meme mania. And IWM, there's just so much that is aligning to make the stars perfect, right? You have IWM all-time highs. You have rate cuts. You have fundamental changes of GameStop's company. And the overall basket of these stocks looks freaking amazing. And we'll get into that later with AMC. But it looks so special, guys. I'm just so excited. I mean, honestly, if you guys can feel this excitement, drop a comment, because I can't explain to you guys just how like the butterflies are coming up. The specialness of this move and our thesis coming to fruition is beginning to feel a little unreal. And that's only at 27. If you seek these gap fills at $28 and $30 and then you pump into $40, guys, I mean, come on. I mean, seriously. Silly stuff. All right, let's get into the quarterly chart. You are continuing to break out above this quarterly RSI band for the first time since you poked your head out in October, and then you squoze in, I mean, this gave you a cross in April before you squoze in January. Very, very important for being able to see the bullish continuation here, because this is the most you've poked your head out above this band since back in the squeeze. So something special in this chart is happening, and not many people are talking about it, right? Now let's delete this wedge and just look at the lines. Boom. Boom. Now let's just look at the chart, right? As you can see here, it's within this bull channel, whatever you want to call it, right? You're seeking a breakout, and you're seeking, let's go to the Webull. Webull does a little bit better of a job. Webull, Las Vegas. All right, so this is what's very important on GameStop. You are so freaking close. You are so close to a daily golden cross on GameStop. And this chart is set up in a way that it has not been set up since back here. And honestly, guys, since back here when you broke above your range and you were flagging out before a mega squeeze. This thing is special. This thing is uniquely set up that once you get this golden cross and you break this local high of, what's the candle? Break the local high of 27.34. You're going to Thanos snap into 28. The gap fill approximately at, what is that at? 28.42 is your level to gap fill. Above 28.42 is 29.66. Those are your two levels that you're watching for GameStop or GME on this weekly close. If you're able to do that, guys, and you can base and form some kind of shoulder, head, shoulder before inevitably, right? Theoretically, if you did that, you would draw horizontal resistance. You would put the breakout above, and then that leads you somewhere in this 40s territory. But let's take it one step at a time, and let's continue to analyze this chart as it occurs, right? You can see on the volume here, you did print a lower volume day, just barely. And honestly, I'm not even sure what to call this candle. It's some kind of a green extended doji. If you guys know the name of this candle, please put it down below because my chart on my table does not have it. And it's not one that you almost ever see on this stock. But what matters is you closed at the highs, guys. You closed at the absolute highs, and that is a beautiful thing going into tomorrow to look and seek continuation for a potential breakout and close of this gap. I think that's coming tomorrow, guys. I do. Knock on wood. Right? Knock on wood. I think you're going to see that continuation close. It's very, very nice to see you avoided this MACD daily cross down. And if you go into the weekly time frame, you can see you got that cross, right? You got that cross that we were talking about on the weekly time frame of the 9 going above the 50, and that led to a 3% move today. And that's a beautiful thing. I don't think that should be taken away at all. Closing at the tops here, I think it is only a matter of time before you break out and you see extensions of this weekly close. There's no other way to put it, guys. If I'm a betting man, I'm putting a bet that you're closing somewhere in the ranges of here at 29 on the week before consolidating and potentially looking to fill the other gap above you. Gamestop on the monthly chart. Just look at this stupidness. Look at the candle. Look at it. Look at this candle. 21% since the breakout. Look at the volume. Creating significantly higher volume, eclipsing, double the volume. Silliness, right? You're above every single EMA, the 9, the 50, the 200. You have gaps above you. You've avoided the monthly cross down on the MACD, and you're actually getting an expansion. And then you go into the quarterly chart, and this is where it gets freaking toasty, guys. This is where it gets crazy. Because if you see a quarterly MACD cross on GameStop, NEO, AMC, you are talking about this kind of squeeze. You are talking about a once in probably 5 years, once in a decade esque setup here. But a lot is going to have to happen, and we're going to have to hold some extreme levels for us to get that. But the setup is there. So I'm very excited to see how this pans out. Last time you were this close, you rejected in December. Now you need to see continuation. And if you see that continuation, guys, it is only a matter of time before you continue to pound on the doors that will eventually get you to our price target of the gap fill at $73. But that is all I got for GameStop. Make sure to slap the subscribe button once more because I love and appreciate you all. Let's get into AMC here because AMC, guys, probably the best it's looked in the entire quarter. I could not be happier with where AMC lies right now. And you can see I did an extended trend line just because I was curious. I like to do this on short time frames and see if this trend line held any kind of macro significance in the past. And you can see that this was the trend line you kind of used. And I can emphasize it a little bit better. This is the trend line you kind of used as your bear channel or your bear trend, right? And then you dropped and you knifed below it. And then you've been retesting it constantly. So a break above this is not only significant to break the macro symmetrical triangle, but you are busting back into this channel, guys. And I think that this is understated and underlooked. It's overlooked. Because AMC's price has been so suppressed here. The Bollinger Bands are the tightest they have ever been on the monthly time frame, but we'll get into that. Your quarterly MACD is continuing to cross up, and you have printed a green quarterly candle. So that's in my last video. That's what I really emphasized, was that you cannot close this quarter red, guys. You have to close above the open. You can see it up here at 2. On the top left of the screen, you see 290 is your crucial level to close above, and you are now closing above that, right? On extended volume, while this thing is continuing to curl up on the quarterly MACD, this is a special special chart in which you could see some kind of crazy volatile moves occur. And I mean, it leaves you speechless, right? This is the first time you're beginning to curl up since 2020 of December, before you saw a 381% move and then a 455% move. So I do believe you could see some very comparable percentage gains, but it's not going to take you to these old prices, in my opinion, right? Not financial advice, but I believe if you were accumulating at these lows, you see like a 400% move here that takes you up to the $17 range. And then, I mean, the rest is history, right? That's our ultimate target, is the gap fill at $43. And we'll get into that in a second. But what matters, guys, is how the setup is evolving on AMC. And you're doing something that defies the odds. It really just breaks the micro trend and puts you in position to shatter the macro trend and to really begin your own bull market here, along with the rest of the risk on assets. A beautiful monthly close for AMC, probably one of the best you've seen since back here in over 3 months. Great volume, more than the last 3 months, and you did it at a crucial level, establishing a new uptrend in price. And our thesis on AMC is that you're going to see some kind of macro double bottom. And that still stands true, right? Double bottom back in 2020 and 2019 into your squeeze. Double bottom in 2025, potentially into your squeeze, right? Let's get into the Bollinger Bands in the monthly, because that is getting me absolutely jacked. And you can see that right before you break this macro resistance, you are coiled. You are absolutely coiled on this stock. And if you're able to break this, guys, I anticipate a volatile move into the mid Bollinger Band at 373. Break above this, and it's almost a slingshot guarantee into 541. Now, 541, it's very interesting that you have the upper Bollinger Band and your very crucial horizontal resistance of this double bottom at the same location. And I would anticipate a pause here. Although AMC loves to make candles like this, right? I would anticipate a pause here for consolidation before you break and retest. I do believe that you will be testing this within the next quarter. And the next quarter opens up at November, right? So November is the time frame in which I would anticipate you to be sometime, somewhere at these levels. If you're not, I don't know, man. But that's what it's looking like. That's what it's looking like on this stock. A absolutely beautiful weekly start to the week. As you can see, you are still within this falling wedge. You are beginning to poke out of it. And that's what gets me excited for the week. And you could totally fake out here and go to the bottom to 271 like we talked about. And I still would be confirmed in my bullish bias and my thesis, because I know on the micro here, you're in a falling wedge within a symmetrical triangle that you look to have a bullish breakout of. But the most bullish, above it all, guys, above it all, the most bullish thing about AMC stock right now is you look at the volume bars, right? Look at the green volume beginning to trickle in. This is not a coincidence. And I believe you are now above the 50-day EMA. This has been my battle with AMC, is every time you get above the 50, you crash beneath it. Got above the 50, failed to hold. Got above the 50, failed to hold. Got above the 50, failed to hold. You actually bounced off of it perfectly here. Got above the 50, failed to hold. So AMC has really been flirting with this 50-day EMA cross for quite some time, and you're now seeing increase in volume as you got above the stubborn 292 resistance. You're about to get a daily 9-day EMA cross above the 50. I do believe that this can propel you above this falling wedge. And if you get outside of this falling wedge, guys, I anticipate significant bullish volume to step in at these levels into the 200-day EMA, and you're going to test this thing, and it could be ugly, it could be sexy, right? Something crazy is going to happen at this 350 level. It could be as soon as next week, right? You might do something like this. Just a crazy candle and a crazy retest into some kind of consolidation. I do believe it's going to be hard to break this, but once you break it, guys, you are absolutely, like, the bull gates are unlocked. Something crazy can happen once you break the 200, because this is the most significant technical landmark. If you break on this stock, this is the most significant bullish thing you would have done on AMC since 2021. When you squoze, broke it, had a golden cross on the daily, retested, and then the rest was history. You had a gamma squeeze into $400, guys. That is going to be key on AMC, that once you're outside of this falling wedge, how do you react, right? How are you going to react to this daily 200-day EMA that is looking more and more realistic and possible that our thesis will come true day by day? As price grinds higher and the EMA grinds down, they will meet and something will happen. I may be a little biased that I think, hey man, shorts are cooked. Taylor Swift is back, baby. But we will just have to wait and see, honestly. It's a waiting game in this falling wedge all the way until November. And you could reject here until you get the Taylor Swift revenue results, and then bam, right? But it could also happen now. It is honestly just a waiting game. So AMC looks filthy here. I feel very blessed to be covering this, because this was a thesis we had all the way back in early May, as soon as you retested this. Yeah, it was like right around here. You guys can backtrack the channel, but you had this significant breakout into a flag that you rejected ultimately, and you created this macro falling wedge. But I feel very blessed to be able to cover this, because AMC is what got me into the market. AMC, the community around this, I would like to enlighten and invigorate and ignite the passion within you guys once more, because AMC was the hallmark. It was the staple in which you saw this retail revolution kind of rally behind. And I believe it has the opportunity to do something special again here. Of course, the fundamentals not in the best of spots, but the chart, guys, is what is painting the more bullish and special picture. So once again, just thank you guys for tuning into the channel. If you watched all the way through and you're not subscribed, I don't know what you're doing. Slap the sub button, because we're here every day. I love you all. Thank you for your continued support. God bless each and every single one of you guys. And I will see you in the next video. Peace. Woo!